Considering some celebrities give their kids names like Apple and Moxie Crime Fighter, you might just assume that they love crazy names. But some celebrities, even those with mundane monikers, have real names that just might surprise you. We'll reveal what's written on the birth certificate of some of your favorite celebs. Before we get started, click the subscribe button for more updates from the taco. Now let's begin. Meghan Markle. When we first heard about the new love interest in Prince Harry's life, we were eager to learn everything we could about Meghan Markle. We felt like we had found out a ton of information about this actress turned princess, but then we were shocked by the Queen's engagement announcement. It wasn't the fact that Meghan and Harry are tying the knot that surprised us, but how the Queen had listed Meghan's name. She referred to the woman we all know as Meghan Markle as Rachel Meghan Markle. Fans of Suits know that Rachel is the name of the character that Meghan portrayed on the show, leading many to believe that maybe the Queen had made a mistake. But if the Queen is a secret Suits fan, she's keeping it well hidden. It turns out that Meghan Markle's first name really is Rachel, but she prefers to go by her middle name Meghan. The fact that her Suits character is named Rachel Zane is just a big coincidence. It's not unusual for actors to go by their middle name or come up with a stage name, but we just don't usually find out about it in a royal wedding announcement. And it turns out that her intended Prince Harry has a name that isn't what it seems as well. Prince Harry. The general public has been following Prince Harry for much longer than Meghan Markle, but most people forgot that his first name isn't really Harry. If that blew your mind, we apologize. We hate to break it to you, but the man you know as Prince Harry actually has 4 first names, and not a single one of them is actually Harry. Many people learned about his real name when they saw his royal wedding announcement, which used his official title. The Queen referred to him as His Royal Highness Prince Harry of Wales. It turns out that in the royal family, Harry is often a nickname for Henry. This seems strange since they're the same number of syllables and both equally easy to pronounce, but it's a long-standing tradition. Even Shakespeare used his unusual nickname referring to Henry V as Harry in his works. So, what are his other first names? He's officially Henry Charles Albert David. If you're wondering what his last name is, that's a bit complicated. Members of the royal family don't really have last names. They can use the family name Mountbatten Windsor, but many use their family's territorial designation. In school, Prince Harry and his brother Prince Williams use the last name Wales. Rihanna. One of the many celebrities who chooses to go by a single name is Rihanna. She's so famous and fabulous that most of us just accepted that she only needed the single name and didn't question it further. Then, just when we thought her career couldn't get any better, she blessed us with her amazing line of Fenty beauty products. This caused many people to wonder where she got the word Fenty from, and people started doing a little digging. The answer, of course, is hilariously simple. Fenty is Rihanna's last name. If you didn't know this, don't feel too bad because lots of people didn't. Rihanna even joked about it on her Twitter. She posted a picture of her giving some grade A side-eye with the caption, "When people asked how I came up with Fenty." Since you've now learned that Rihanna does in fact have a last name, we should probably let you know that her first name isn't actually Rihanna. She actually has a much more common first name, which is Robin. The name on her birth certificate is Robin Rihanna Fenty. She prefers to go by her middle name and apparently just uses her last name when her empire grows too large to just fall under the Rihanna umbrella. Katy Perry. We know that many performers have stage names, but Katy Perry sounds like such a simple name that many people never questioned it. But as you've probably figured out by now, this singer's real name isn't actually Katy Perry. Her first name is actually Catherine. It sounds a bit overly distinguished for a singer who frequently covers herself in cupcakes, but it's what is on her birth certificate. Okay, so Katy being a nickname for Catherine makes perfect sense. But what about her last name? It turns out that her last name isn't Perry or anything remotely close to it. Although she's definitely a one-of-a-kind performer now, there was a time when she was eager to make a name for herself literally and figuratively. Her last name was Hudson, and she worried that being Katy Hudson would cause people to confuse her with actress Kate Hudson. It's a fair worry, and for a while she performed using the name Catherine Perry to avoid confusion. Perry is her mother's maiden name, and it just kind of stuck until eventually she became known as Katy Perry. She does have a middle name as well. Her full name is Catherine Elizabeth Hudson. Bruno Mars. That's right, Bruno Mars isn't this performer's actual name, and he only came up with part of it himself. His real first name is the far more mundane Peter, but it seems that the name even fell out of favor with his family apparently rather fast, because by the time he was 2 years old, his father gave him the nickname Bruno. Apparently, as a young boy, he closely resembled the wrestler Bruno Sammartino because of what an adorably chubby baby he was. The nickname just stuck until nobody was calling him Peter anymore. His father may have given him the moniker Bruno, but where did the Mars part come from? When he moved to Los Angeles to pursue his career in music, he decided that he needed a stage name with some excitement. He used his childhood nickname and added the name Mars to give it some pizzazz. According to him, girls say that he's out of this world, so a space-themed moniker made perfect sense. His real last name is Hernandez, and his full given name is Peter Gene Hernandez. When he chose his stage name, he claims that the music industry was trying to write him off as just another Latino music artist, and even asked him to sing in Spanish. Going from Peter Gene Hernandez to Bruno Mars was his way of standing out, and we have to say it definitely worked. Lana Del Rey. Many celebrities claim that they always knew they would have a career in their chosen field, that they were determined from the get-go to pursue their passions, and believed that they would be successful. And then we have Lana Del Rey. While her success is undeniable, she claims that she had no idea she would someday be a big name in the music scene. When she was younger, she was always singing, and would book tons of gigs just to enjoy the art of performing. By now, you've probably guessed that Lana Del Rey is a stage name, but it wasn't the first one that she came up with, and it took her time to find the right one. Her real name is Elizabeth Woolridge Grant, but she decided to have some fun coming up with stage names. One name was a simple Lizzie Grant, and another was Lizzie Grant and the Phenomena. Some were a little bit out there, including Sparkle Jump Rope Queen. We can't believe that one didn't stick. Later, she decided that it was time to pick a serious stage name. At the time, she was spending a lot of time in Miami speaking Spanish with her friends from Cuba. The name Lana Del Rey reminded her of their time together, and she loved the way that it sounded. Michael Caine. The most surprising celebrity who goes by a name that they weren't given at birth might just be Michael Caine. He's one of the most recognizable faces in cinema, but he was born Maurice Joseph Micklewhite. When he was 20 years old, he answered an ad for an assistant stage manager position that included some small walk-on parts. Since he was going to be appearing on stage, he decided to adopt a stage name that was a bit less cumbersome than Maurice Micklewhite. He decided to take inspiration from his last name and called himself Michael White. For years, he went by this stage name until his agent said that he had to change it to avoid being confused with another actor. The agent gave him 3 days to come up with something new, and during that time, he spotted a poster for the 1954 film The Caine Mutiny. Being a huge Humphrey Bogart fan, this was a no-brainer, and he then became Michael Caine. Unlike many celebs who don't go by their birth names, Michael Caine took the step of changing his name legally. He claims that going by a different name made going through the airport a nightmare, so he decided to make things easier for himself. Natalie Portman. One thing you might not know about actress Natalie Portman is that she has a dual Israeli and American citizenship. That's right, even though she is an American film star, she was born in Jerusalem. You can probably guess that since that's the case, her birth name is Natalie Portman. Although she loves the United States, she has stated that her heart is in Jerusalem and said that is where she feels most at home. Her parents met at a Jewish student center at Ohio University and kept in contact after her father returned to Israel. Later, the two married and named their daughter Natalie Hirschleg. At some point in her career, she decided to start going by a name that would be easier for audiences to remember and pronounce, and called herself Natalie instead of Natalie. But when it came to swapping out her last name, it wasn't vanity or commercialism that convinced her to do so. She decided to take on a new last name in order to protect her family from her growing notoriety. Portman is her grandmother's maiden name and a lovely nod to her treasured family and heritage. Nicki Minaj. It might surprise you to know that Nicki Minaj isn't this singer's real name. Perhaps even more surprising is just how close her original name is to the one she ended up being called. She was born in St. James, Trinidad and Tobago, and her parents named her Annika Tanya Mirage. From the time she was a child, everyone called her Nicki instead of Annika as a nickname, and it just kind of stuck. Originally, she wanted to be an actress and worked a bunch of side gigs while waiting for her big break. She briefly signed on with the Brooklyn group Full Force before she ended up with her own own agent. At the time, she was going by Nicki Minaj and was very happy with that name. When she was signed onto Dirty Money Entertainment in 2007, the CEO told Nicki that Minaj just wouldn't work and she needed to change it. Nicki wasn't happy about the idea of editing her name, and she liked the proposed name Minaj even less. Producers thought that Minaj sounded better than Mirage, and finally Nicki relented. She told herself that she could always change her name back after she made a name for herself, but later decided that her fans are too attached to the moniker Nicki Minaj. Cardi B. We're going to go ahead and assume that you've realized by now that Cardi B's parents didn't write Cardi B on their daughter's birth certificate. But maybe we shouldn't assume so fast, because people have believed some pretty crazy things about Cardi B's name in the past. Somehow a rumor started that the nickname Cardi B was short for cardiovascular bronchitis. We aren't even going to try to explain away that one. Plus, Cardi B has flat out said that she came up with her stage name. The Cardi part of Cardi B comes from the beverage Bacardi. Her sister goes by the name Hennessy Carolina, so Cardi decided to adopt a liquor-themed moniker as well. As for the B part, Cardi B claims what that stands for changes daily depending on her mood. It can be anything from beautiful to bully, or it could even be a nod to her actual name. She was born Belcalis Almanzar, which to be honest is kind of an awesome name. But apparently Belcalis didn't roll off the tongue enough, and she adopted a stage name which has seemed to work out well for her. Do you think that changing a name for your career is a good move, or would they have better been off with their birth names? Let us know what you think in the comments section, and be sure to subscribe for more videos from the Taco. Bye for now!